Most people will never see this, but today I'm taking you with me.
Welcome to the U.S. Ambassador's residence in Baguio City, located in what used to be an American base,
where World War II actually ended in the Philippines. In World War II, during the Japanese occupation, General Tomoyuki Yamashita, Supreme Commander of the Japanese forces in Luzon, was captured in Kiangan, Ifugao, and then flown to Baguio City. The following day, he was brought to the High Commissioner's residence at Camp John Hay, the building now known as the U.S. Ambassador's residence, where he signed the instrument of surrender that ended organized Japanese military presence in the Philippines. Built in 1940, the residence is a two-story L-shaped house finished as part of the Camp John Hay property. Its interior today still contains its original features and artifacts and 7 upstairs bedrooms. The residence originally served as the summer home for the U.S. High Commissioner to the Philippines. Before the war, American administrators made Camp John Hay in Baguio as one of their main military bases and cool hilltop retreat. However, shortly after construction, the U.S. High Commissioner used the residence for only about a year. Shortly after Pearl Harbor, the Japanese invaded the Philippines, and the house was seized by Japanese military and political leaders in December 1941 and converted into a Japanese military headquarters during the occupation. For the next 3 years, the Japanese used the building to house high-ranking officials, even constructing tunnels beneath the residence as potential escape routes. At the same time, during their stay, they introduced bougainvillea trees around the property, which are still seen today. Some say this was purely for aesthetic appeal, while others believe it was also a clever way to camouflage the house from potential air raids. But in the next few years, with the relentless advance of Filipino guerrillas and Allied forces, the Japanese were finally driven out of Baguio.
On 25th April, the troops of the 37th Division reached the outskirts of Baguio.
On April 27, 1945, the city was liberated. The historic residence was reclaimed. General Tomoyuki Yamashita was a celebrated commander, famed for his 1941 to 1942 victories in Malaya and Singapore that helped earn him the nickname Tiger of Malaya. A stoic commander, Yamashita was later tasked with the supreme command of the defense of the Philippines on October of 1944, replacing General Masaharu Homa, who had led the initial occupation. But as Allied forces and Filipino guerrillas advanced, Yamashita retreated to a mountain headquarters in Kiangan, Ifugao, and continued scattered resistance. But despite fierce fighting, the Japanese holdout was isolated and the resistance was ultimately doomed. But on September 2, 1945, the same day Japan surrendered on the USS Missouri, Yamashita and 11 of his top officers emerged in Kiangan, Ifugao. Exhausted and cornered, the feared Tiger of Malaya finally laid down his arms. That same day, the general was also brought to Baguio, where the stage was being set for the formal surrender that would officially mark the end of Japan's military presence in the Philippines. This is the very table where it happened, where the formal instrument of surrender was signed on September 3, 1945. The document records General Yamashita and Vice Admiral Denshichi Okuchi signing before the U.S. representatives.
So at least according to the Fernando Amorsolo painting, this is around the seat where General Tomoyuki Yamashita was presented the surrender papers, which he signed on September 3, 1945. Imagine all of those powerful military people from almost 100 years ago who also sat in this very seat and table where we are now.
And this is the very room where it happened. At the center of the room hangs Fernando Amorsolo's 1951 painting, Yamashita's Surrender at Baguio, based on photos by Carl Maidens. The artwork offers a depiction of the event.
So while that table is where they signed the surrender papers, that exact table was originally in this very room, and in this room is where Japanese surrender is made official.
While the residence itself still preserves original furniture and artifacts that witnessed this moment in history.
I know it's a bit dark to see, but a lot of these furnitures, these designs, these artifacts on the wall come all the way back from the American period. Some may be broken or missing, but a lot of those are faithfully recreated, really trying to preserve the atmosphere of the residence.
Upstairs are 7 bedrooms, including the one that served as Yamashita's room when he was in custody before the surrender.
This is the room where General Yamashita was accommodated from September 2 to September 3, 1945, when he was transferred from his Japanese headquarters in Kiangan, Ifugao to this American base in Baguio City, where he would prepare to formally sign Japan's unconditional surrender. Many things in this room are also original, from the walls to the tables to... Hear that? Even the squeaky floorboards. Even this mirror that we're looking at right now is the same mirror from back in 1945. Imagine yourself as General Yamashita during that time, knowing that it's going to be one of the last times you'll ever see yourself in the mirror.
The next day, on September 3, 1945, Yamashita and his officers went downstairs, and at exactly 11:55 a.m., the formal surrender ceremony began in the living room of this residence. After the terms of surrender were read aloud, General Tomoyuki Yamashita, commander of the Imperial Japanese Army in the Philippines, and Vice Admiral Denshichi Okochi, commander of the Imperial Japanese Navy in the Philippines, signed 4 copies of the Instrument of Surrender in front of U.S. forces, formally ending Japanese control in the Philippines. Soon after, the general was transported to Manila, where he faced trial before a U.S. military commission. Found guilty of war crimes, he was sentenced to death and executed on February 1946, a controversial decision setting precedents in international military law for decades to come.
Charged and sentences you to death by hanging.
Following Philippine independence in 1946, the rank of U.S. High Commissioner ceased to exist and was replaced by the position of the U.S. Ambassador. Today, this building is known as the Ambassador's Residence, where the U.S. Ambassador stays during official visits to Baguio City and summer functions. Though modest and perched on a hill, it witnessed a turning point in the long and complicated history between the Philippines and the United States. It may look quiet now, but this was where the last chapter in the fight to free the Philippines from Imperial Japan was formally closed.